So hope.
All right.
Optimism.
I am ready.
Oh, hey, look, a light is on. Now it's off again.
Hey, everyone. We're back again, and I still have the usual suspects on my flanks. Phil, Tyler, and me. That's Chris. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk about a subject that is fun.
It's a very difficult subject.
Little controversial.
Little controversial, especially these days,
Kinda
because
spicy.
people don't like being happy these days.
No.
We're in an election year. No one likes each other. We're all at each other's throats.
Definitely don't like this
You can't go on
guy. Look at that
Facebook
glorious
without
beard.
just some of the worst ugliness that humanity has to offer. But guess what?
No, I got off Facebook.
Oh, you got off Facebook. That's good.
Me too.
I wish I could flee. Anyway, but
You got a business to run, though.
I have a business to run. So,
Poor guy.
but here's the deal. There's two very unlikely saviors for us, and they are named
Jesus?
Bill
Oh.
and Ted.
Yes.
And they
Oh,
are
you see that,
delivering a message to every one of you out there, all you troublemakers, all you,
You.
gaslighters,
Yeah.
all you,
Haters.
you.
Don't know what we're doing
oh,
right now.
you.
don't know
Yeah.
what's
See,
all of
every
us.
time I point at you, I'm pointing 3 fingers back at me. man.
Exactly. That's right. The log in the eye,
Yeah.
the splinter in someone else's eye, right?
Where are we going with
That's
this?
right. So, Bill and Ted Face the Music was
Oh,
exactly
right.
the prescription that I needed.
Right.
All right. To have a unifying message, just honestly to get away from all the stress. And,
Very-
and so,
Very
who's
smooth
seen this
segue
movie?
there.
Who has
I
seen
have.
this movie?
I've seen this movie.
You've seen
I
this
have.
movie.
I have.
All right.
I think you might have seen it.
I saw it too.
I think I saw it with
Yeah.
you.
Were we
Yeah.
in the same room?
I think we were in the same room when we saw it.
Oh, I don't know.
Now you've seen the originals, yeah?
I did see
first
the
two?
originals, of course. Of course, I've seen the originals.
Have you seen the first two films?
Tyler,
No.
you and I used to call each other Bill and Ted.
Ted?
When we were
You know the
children.
Wyld Stallions?
I know
I
that.
got the Wyld
you knew that,
Stallions
but
with
I'm,
me.
I'm doing a bit with
Yes.
you. See, this is what I'm talking about. I can't handle this guy.
So here we are. Let's
Yes.
set. Let's set.
Yes, I've
let's
seen
set the
all the Bill and
stage.
Teds.
Let's set the stage. All right, Bill and Ted, Keanu Reeves and Winters. What's his name? Jonathan Winters. Oh gosh.
He hasn't made
the
himself,
other guy.
He hasn't made himself
It's
as popular. as
Keanu Reeves and the other guy.
Keanu Reeves,
But anyway,
famous for his candy.
Sorry,
Reeves'
Bill.
Pieces.
so I can't remember when Bill and Ted Go to Hell came out.
You mean
but it was
Bogus Journey?
Oh, Bogus Journey.
Bogus
Oh, that's
Journey
right.
came out in
That was the
92.
Megadeth song "Go to Hell," which was the actual theme track
Yeah,
for
Nine.
the Bogus Journey movie.
It was either
Actually, it
89
was
or 90.
originally called Bill and Ted Go
Yeah,
to
something
Hell,
like
and
that.
they decided to change the name.
To
That is a little
Bogus
fun
Journey,
fact
which
to
is
Bogus
great.
Journey.
It's,
So-
it's more thematic that way.
Yeah. So Excellent Adventure, Bogus Journey, and
Now We Face
and
the
Beyond.
Music.
And now we face the music. But what's the difference here? Bill and Ted are now grown-ups, kind of like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Probably
can-
in
I
more
can
than one
hear-
way.
I can hear
Not
grim
just
laughter from
age.
the other room.
Yes. And they have children now.
Yep.
They are married to the princesses from the
Of course.
from
Why
the
would they not
movies.
be?
of
They're true
old,
loves.
right? They're true loves, right? And they are still struggling to make it though in the music biz.
Well, I mean, so they did make it. They were doing really good.
They, yeah,
But their guiding force has always been creating that song that would unite the whole world.
the one song.
And after some moderate success, their attempts at devising new forms of music had led them astray, if
Yes.
you will, because they had to continue to pursue something that was so unique, something that was so powerful that they would be able to bring the whole world together with this one song. And so
You know,
obviously,
no pressure.
obviously you can't just stick to their standard music.
No.
No music has ever done this before. So you got to think outside the box.
That's
and,
right.
And they have been for decades.
Yes.
And it has been nothing but an absolute detriment to their careers.
Exactly. And so, with age usually comes wisdom. But what did we find about that?
With Bill and Ted, there is no such thing as
No.
wisdom. Without
No.
Rufus, there is no wisdom.
No, that's true. Rufus is gone, but there is someone that appears in Rufus's place, Rufus's daughter.
Yes.
And
Does she also save the 7 bad birds?
No.
what we find is that the world is going to end in an apocalyptic mess.
Yes.
if
Yes.
n- unless they can find, finally, their destiny.
So all of history has actually began to fall apart. You have historical figures from all of time disappearing from their own time zones and ending up in a different time altogether in some really hilarious situations.
That's right.
Where you see characters just bouncing all around different time periods. And
It's chaos.
the urgency has come upon Bill and Ted to finally finish this music.
Yes.
Otherwise, there is another interpretation of the prophecy, which suggests that by destroying Bill and Ted, the world might be saved. An interpretation that Rufus was not a fan of, but that his
No.
wife very much was a fan of.
Yes.
So now, under threat of death, they continue to really seek after this perfect unifying song.
Perfect tune.
But their journey is hijacked by themselves.
By themselves, which is actually an interesting little aspect to the story because it kind of goes to, I think, the heart of everybody, right?
That we're
There-
our own worst
the-
handicap.
I think that we all have the capacity to be very good or very bad. And Bill and Ted meet definitely some versions of themselves where it goes pretty bad.
Yeah.
And
The evil
and
robot
what they're
S's.
capable of.
Worse-
Some of them
worse than
are
evil robots.
absolutely hilarious.
They keep bumping into potential futures of themselves.
Potential futures of themselves, and they're not happy about it,
No.
are they?
Their whole journey goes from being about trying to create the best music that they can, which they initially used the time machine to go into a future where they have already made the song,
Oh,
and therefore be able to bring it back and save the world with it. But in doing so, they not only don't find the song, but they also realize that they're pretty close to losing the princesses. And so
That's
their
right.
whole journey becomes about trying to save their marriages.
That's right. And the irony
Relatable.
is that in the end, maybe they weren't meant to do what they set out to do.
So,
So we don't want to give away too much,
yep.
right? But I just kind of want to get more now a feel of like, what did you think of the execution of this film, without giving away the ending and
I think
everything else?
For sure,
Yep.
it was a Bill and Ted movie.
Yes.
Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
While they did subvert some expectations, they threw a couple of curveballs at us. As far as the way the film unfolds and how wacky the story gets while also still being wholesome and adventurous,
Yes.
it felt very much like the same kind of atmosphere that the first two films brought. So I think as far as an ending to this trilogy, it did a fantastic job of carrying, the weight and the message and the atmosphere from the first two films into this one. And by the end of the film, I was crying a little bit. I was crying a little bit, mostly from laughter.
Yes.
But they
Absolutely
really,
from laughter.
and they really do, even in the subverting of, what we originally expected,
Yeah.
it still doesn't go outside of, the original prophecy that was the, motivating arc of the first film,
Right.
which is that Bill and Ted would unite the world with a single song. And they, by the end of this movie, very much, Bill and Ted unite the world with a single song.
I wonder how much the makers of this movie, and I don't know who actually wrote the movie, but the fact that Keanu Reeves' star has obviously kind of shot through the roof
Yep.
with his action movie career,
and just being just the generally best person around.
and just well,
He is the goodest
he really
boy.
is, and
Well, that was the greatest boy.
but
Goodest boy dad.
coming back to doing a movie like this, I'm not sure if they realized like how timely this movie was, and like I don't want to like say that the Bill and Ted movie is going to change the world, but it really is the type of movie that people need to see. You know, we need to kind of get away from all of the stresses and the ugliness and everything like that, and bring it back to something that's a little more wholesome. And I know that someone in the studio is kind of looking at me right now, waving his hand. He doesn't like that idea, but you know what? Honestly,
He prefers things grim.
Bully to him.
I think everybody should go out and see this kind of movie. And do you think that Hollywood maybe has a little bit of a responsibility to maybe provide us a little bit more content that is kind of positive and more hopeful in its messaging?
I mean,
And
that's not
and
really
less
Hollywood's
divisive?
MO.
It's,
That hasn't been
it's
Hollywood's
not.
MO since the early 2000s. Like after 9/11, they wanted more realistic or more
Gritty.
and real things. They
Dark.
wanted things to
Life stinks.
that's just generally the kind of feel I got from Hollywood basically since that point. Was like everything was, unless it was specifically like a children's piece of entertainment,
Yeah.
Even then,
it has like a sort of grim edge to it, which is just kind of the nature of just the world at large at that point. Like exceptionalism had kind of died at that point, and a lot of people really like, and not necessarily that people wanted things to be more gritty and realistic, but that's just what happened. Like,
Do you think that this might be a little bit of a cynical view, but do you think that the stuff that unfolded on our television screens live on the morning of 9/11, Hollywood in some way said, we can't match anything more horrific and jarring to, that could even measure up to what people actually witnessed live, and they took it as a challenge?
I could see it.
I mean,
Is that a little bit of a cynical view?
I mean,
I
it
think-
is cynical,
I think
but
in that
like,
moment, the American people had a shift of consciousness where they realized that the world is genuinely a dark place. I mean,
scary
for
place.
a long time, life in the United States, while not perfect for all people by any means, the core of our population very much were living in kind of a golden era where life was easier.
that's what I said earlier. Exceptionalism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and as soon as that switch had flipped, and we were like, wow, there are some really just dangerous people out there that want to do harm for reasons that we cannot comprehend, but seem pure evil to us.
And
That's the atmosphere that we
and
moved
we are no
into.
longer protected.
Yeah.
Like
we're not safe
it's,
anymore.
we're not safe anymore.
So
right?
this idealism,
Yeah.
everything works out
Yeah.
for a happy ending,
Yeah.
that was just stripped away, and people no longer wanted that.
Yeah.
But it's been
long enough.
20 years.
So it has been long
I think
enough.
we're ready to move back into this hopefulness. That
I think we could all
So-
use some right now. So
Yeah. So I mean, Hollywood, I think you have an opportunity here. You can step up and actually deliver some of that to us.
be the
right?
hero that we need you to be.
Yeah.
not the hero
exactly.
that we
Like
deserve.
it's
hero that we
yeah. I mean, kumbaya moment. Yeah, from the studio over there. But
He's doing the lighter.
yeah, it's definitely we've entered the ballad phase of our concert. But yeah, I mean, I think that there is opportunity here. I think we need something to bring us back to an even keel, and I think
Especially in a time when we have not, for so many years, been so divided,
right.
both politically and physically from each other.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that we get to be here in the studio and be close and chat with one another is something that a lot of the American people and a lot of the world does not
Just don't
the
have right
option
now.
They don't
for
have
right
that
now,
opportunity, right.
You know?
That's right.
So everybody's feeling really pulled apart from one another, very divided, very alone. So to have movies like Bill and Ted that's all about unity and bringing the world together and feeling good
Right.
about the state of humanity once again, I think it's something that we need. Yeah.
I think so. I think there's something to be said that I'm not a big comedy guy. I will say that.
I'm a huge
But
comedy guy.
but I just the fact that I saw this movie, and honestly, it was probably the most enjoyable experience watching a movie
was crying
that I had
from laughter.
experienced in a very long time. Maybe a couple of years. It's like, and really, at the end of the day, was the movie that great, or was it just that I just yearned for something that
It was the catharsis of
the catharsis, right? I don't know, but I have to say to the filmmakers, well done, and keep doing that. Keep doing that. We need it.
Yeah, give us more Bill and Ted.
So,
Bill and
what
Ted
did
4.
you think of Bill and Ted Face the Music? We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we'd love to hear your thoughts also on which direction you'd like to see Hollywood go, messaging-wise. So, thank you for your time.
I
And
feel like we kind of dropped the ball instead of asking if we thought if it was excellent or bogus.
oh,
Oh.
yes, excellent or bogus. Chime in. Good call.
Thank
Good
you.
call.
I have
So-
I have good insight every now and then.
You do. You do. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all soon.